All right, WTF moment. If you search Gemini, Gmail, privacy, or is Gemini reading my search and my emails, you're in the right spot. And here's why. Google is pushing Gemini to get more personal. And it's not just by answering questions. It's looking at those questions as if it were you. So the real shift is moving from an internet where everyone gets the same thing to an internet where you browse and make decisions on what the AI knows based on your personal context. Now, it's super convenient because if you remember anything about search, back in the day, I go to Yahoo and it wasn't really, you just get whatever. You type in phone and it'd be all these different things. Did it mean landline? Did it mean mobile phone? Did it mean your phone book, phone numbers? And it just was all over the place. Google came into the game late 1990s and really just changed everything. Transformed, like you type in phone and it would know that you meant you're trying to buy a phone, or it meant that you were looking to get a phone from like a carrier or something. Then ads came into play, SEO got involved, and largely up until last 3 years, we all were on the same internet. Google just was very, very helpful. Now, that was powerful and that was convenient then. But you introduce LLMs, also known as generative AI, or Gemini for some, ChatGPT for others, but say we're talking about Gemini, then it becomes the question of where do we go? Well, I think it starts off with the question of who controls the memory and who profits from the recommendation. Today, I'm gonna break it down. I'm gonna break down what changes, who wins, what to watch, and how I'm shifting my mindset going forward. Now, when I think about this, I actually go back to what does personal actually mean in plain English? Well, when people hear personal AI, they think, oh, cool, better answers. But personal has a cost. It needs context. And context can come in the form of your searches, your email, your calendar history, and even your preferences over time. Now, even if it's not reading every single one of your emails, the direction is clear. Gemini wants to answer like it knows you. And it doesn't just want to know you. It wants to answer and steer you. So this is the good future that, Google is saying, hey, we're not going to be evil. We're going to steer you towards this. And here's the reality. If we're real, the good version of this is actually quite amazing because you stop repeating yourself. You stopped reprompting yourself. You stop retelling your story into these endless prompts that lead into oblivion. You all been there. I said that twice, but literally, that's one of the most frustrating things about AI today. I can just say, plan my trip, and it understands that I want to go to Japan, it knows my budget, knows my taste, it knows everything that I want to do. And so that's one thing on the travel side. Let's say we look at another future. We can say, hey, Gemini, summarize what I just missed. And it knows exactly what's going on. It knows you're in a meeting. It knows that you're talking to your boss. It knows that your boss likes to hear the same things repeated to him so that you understand contextual cues. You might have heard this 2 weeks ago. And so you tuned out because you was watching, Stranger Things on your laptop on a second screen. We know y'all be doing that. Trust me, we know. But guess what? Now you can say, summarize what I missed, and Gemini will just have that information in that context right there for you. And it goes beyond that. I'll talk about commerce for a bit. What if we are in the store? And I use Gemini for this today all the time. And I pull it up and I say, what should I buy? Well, check this out. Google knows my style, it knows my history, and it knows my needs. That's clutch. Because what this is getting us from is less of the internet as we once knew it from the 1990s and more of what we're calling the personal internet. So that means it's less searching and more deciding. Now, here's where this gets scary. There's a trade-off to everything. And, once there's an AI personal enough to know you, it's personal enough to influence you. And so influence has gotten tricky. We look at all the people that are influencers today, and a lot of it's BS, but there are some people where, you probably do check their feed and their recommendations and you buy. Now, when you're going from people to people or person to person, it's not neutral. Recommendations are not neutral. You're coming from a person and you understand that. You get to make a decision. You're like, oh, Craig likes this, Kim likes that, Mark likes this. That's one thing. But those people have incentives. They're getting paid from a brand or they're motivated by something. If AI search becomes the front door and AI now is influencing us, we don't really know what the incentives of that AI are. And that's where this gets a little tricky. So when AI becomes the kingmaker, for lack of better terminology, it's gonna basically know what product you should buy, which creator you should watch if you're pulling up your TV or your apps, which article it thinks matters to you, and which business ultimately gets the sale. Remember that if you're an entrepreneur, you really want to start upping your AEO game right now. If you want help with that, reach out to me. I've got some people in my network that are doing amazing results, are getting amazing results and doing amazing research, and we're getting a better understanding of what you can call AEO or article or answer engine optimization. So again, the big question here is not as if AI is smart. It's like, who benefits from what it suggests? And I always talk about this all the time. Incentives. And that's what the real WTF here is. When you think about what's the future when I say WTF, it's like we're going from search that gives you options to search that gives you an answer. And when you only get one answer, that answer has power. This is why you're seeing stuff like AI search plus shopping plus buy buttons, because Gemini or Google is incentivized to own that checkout. The same way that Amazon owned the one-click buy button 100 years ago. It wasn't really 100 years ago, but y'all remember early 90s. I think it was like 2000, early 2000s. One-click buy, bam, boom. Amazon changed all of digital commerce with just that one button. Someone's gonna do the same with AI search and commerce. So we know that AI can recommend. We know that it's getting to a point where it can sell. But the future isn't just AI assistant. It now becomes AI gatekeeper. So I'm gonna finish up this run and I'm gonna start to close this out. I wanna talk about who wins and who loses. On the winner side, I think that any platform that has identity data, actual data, so like user data and behavior data and distribution, and companies that own the interface. I think those are companies that win. I think one thing you can do if you're a person and you're not a company is build your brand. Anybody with a strong brand right now is going to win because people will still search for you by name. And so the AI is gonna have to know where you're at. And one thing you can do to own your brand right now is you gotta make a lot of content. You gotta make sure it's not just, it's aggregated nicely, because you don't wanna just be on X. You don't wanna just be on YouTube. You don't wanna just be on Facebook. You need to be across all the platforms. And ideally, if you can, posting similar content, but differentiated content on each platform. So AI can reference and cross-index and then make some assumptions based off that. If you want more information on how to build a strong brand for AI, again, reach out to me. I got some ideas and some tips on that. Now, let's talk about this, the losers. I feel bad, because anybody that depends on a random click, y'all know who y'all are. I ain't even gonna call y'all out. Y'all losing. Publishers that don't own the relationship, y'all losing. And you know how I feel about email. So, great for commerce, horrible for consumers. It's the receipt drawer of the digital community framework right now, right? Creators who rely only on the feed. It's good to have that algorithmic distribution, but you cannot rely on that today. What I need you to do is build a name that people will type in, so then the feed knows to prompt those people to you. And I guess what this ultimately breaks down is those people are losing, but if they ultimately just shift their focus to being the thing that people search for, they ultimately win in the long term. So here's what I'm watching as 3 signals that matter. And let me start off with one. There's more personalization in prompts. You know that. That's just gonna quickly become the default. I think when this happens, people are gonna be more reluctant to share their prompts. Same way that, people don't just share all of their code base in repo. They have an open source version and then the actual proprietary version. I think you're gonna see that with prompting. The second thing that I see is AI is not just gonna now just have suggestions, it's gonna have shopping actions. Buy this, buy that. Already starting to see it in ChatGPT. Gemini is working on some stuff. Google's debuted it. And it's not about if, it's about when and what clicks. The third thing I see is you're just gonna basically have a ton of prompts. So think of prompts like when you go to a website and it says allow all cookies and you just click the box just out of habit now, you're gonna have a lot of those prompts. And basically those prompts are gonna shift. So it's less about cookies for the internet now and more about, hey, allow your AI to remember your preferences here. And so that's just something to take away. I'm gonna wrap this up real quick. The way I look at this, if there was a practical mindset to have, is you just have to have this one setting mindset. And here it is. Treat AI personalization like you treat your bank account. Think about that. I don't just give my bank account to everybody, right? If you're gonna pay me, okay, here's some information. If I need to pay you, okay, here's my information. But I'm very careful, very particular about that. And you need to do the same with your AI permissions, right? You only have one identity. Once it's gone, it's gone. Ask anybody that's been hacked in the cyber landscape how hard it is to come back from that. So what I want you to do is just to really look at all the things that are out there, whether you use Gemini, Chat, Claude, whatever. Think about your permissions. Go check them. Go see what you've got connected. If you've never looked into it, now's a great time to do some more searches on, how to change your settings. If you need help, drop a comment, and maybe I can help you with that. And once you've decided what's connected, don't panic. Just be intentional. Just say, I don't know if I need this, or if I don't know if they need my data forever. I just wanted to make a decision on this and give it some input for that time. Let me cancel that. And I understand intentionality is a struggle for most, but you're gonna want to benefit from it in this AI preferences world. Now, convenience is real, but control matters, and that's what I got to say there. So, WTF, what is the future? The future is not just better answers. The future is an internet and an AI that knows you, and it's gonna help you choose, but the only question is, does it choose for you, or does it choose for itself? Drop a comment on what you think about this, and do you want a future optimized for conveniences, or do you want a future optimized for control? Let me know why, and if you like this video, go ahead and subscribe. We're trying some new things out. We back on the running stick and all that good stuff. Holla at me in the future. 1.